Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Addicts. Hello everybody and welcome back to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we take our dismembered body parts and put them in the medicine cabinet. I am Bill and this is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
I'm a little queasy, Bill. That was a movie.
It sure was. It sure was. And the sequel is a thing. I mean, let's just say.
Well, I couldn't help not to get too into it before our preamble, but they don't specifically mention what happens with the pregnancy after the fact, but I'm sure that comes up. I'm sure that comes up.
There's a sequel. That's all I'll say. None of the actors return except for the guy who lost his hand and his foot.
Oh yay! Because of all people, that was who we needed. Okay.
Well, yeah. Anyways, it's been a week. Last week was not good for me for a lot of reasons.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way a little bit about this week. Not that it was like outrageously bad. The past couple days, particularly, were kind of shitty because I'm running between last night and the night before, I've gotten maybe 8 hours total of sleep. So I'm feeling a little loopy right now. Probably should be drinking beer, but whatever.
I hear you. No, it's been a lot. It's been so bad to the point where I've been so tired. My anime watching has been abysmal this week.
Yeah, well, my pace has come to a screeching halt with my department transfer. My number probably isn't going to go up too much between now and the year-end wrap-up. I will be getting some. I actually did finish one this week. I finished my rewatch of Soul Eater.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool going through it. And I will say, because I actually just finished the 5th Perfect Edition volume today, because I've been reading the manga as well. And I'm really curious what the plan was when they were making the anime, because I've noticed as I've been going through the manga that as far as what the anime covers from it, it's kind of insanely accurate to the manga. Like there's very few things that are different or removed, and there's such minor things that they're really not even worth mentioning. So I'm interested to see like where the story, because the anime doesn't even cover half of the manga, so it's going to be interesting to see how that culminates by the end.
Nice. Yeah. For me, anime watching, I've done pretty much nothing. Like I think the only thing I watched last week we covered on the last recording because we had recorded so late in the week. And that was the Fragrant Flower.
Yeah, well, at the moment that and Ranma are the only, well, at least dubs that are out for this season so far. Because Spy Family, One Punch Man, and My Hero have all started their seasons. We just haven't got the dubs yet.
Yeah. And no word when we'll get those. Knowing Crunchyroll, probably like a couple weeks. Yeah, I think it's usually like 3 weeks delayed.
At this point, it's been a week, so yeah, 1 or 2 weeks probably, and then we'll start seeing it.
Yeah. And then the other big news: Crunchyroll has the exclusive rights to Oshinoko now.
Well, that's good. Now I can just keep fucking shoving that high dive subscription way down the line.
Fucking sucks.
Not that I'm really that, It's not like I'm super hesitant about High Dive as a streaming service. I'm just not in a huge rush to have another streaming service. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I hope they don't recast the cast because
I
that'll be
can't see why
obnoxious.
they would.
Depends on politics, I guess, because a lot of the actors in there are Sentai actors.
Oh, they're not private contractors.
Some of them are. It's going to be weird. We're going to have to look into it. They're both non-union, so there's no reason they can't just swap around, but
Hmm.
we'll see on that. It's either way, it's still kind of annoying that the first two seasons are on one platform and the third is going to be on a different platform.
Well, I mean, at least the first two, at least for people who don't have High Dive, the first two are on Hulu, which I guess will mean they'll be on Disney. Because that's
Hopefully,
happening real soon, I guess.
because we don't
Well,
even know
from
what.
what I understand, everything from Hulu is just moving over to Disney. It's just going to be essentially what happened with Funimation and Crunchyroll is going to happen with Disney and Hulu.
Yeah, I just hate it because Disney's like the infinitely worse like platform.
To a degree, I have my issues with Hulu, and those issues don't carry over to Disney. So I mean, it's one of those things where every streaming service has its ups and downs.
Hmm.
They all have their positives and their negatives. Like Hulu for watching shows is infamously bad, assuming you plan on watching them more than once. Because Hulu does a weird thing where if you just jump right into the next episode without like watching like the end song or credits or whatever, depending on what you're watching, the next time you go to watch it, it'll just pick you up right where you left off. And like
Yep.
that has screwed with Cindy multiple times, where like she'll be going to watch a show that I already watched, and like if I'm not there, she'll end up like 5-6 episodes ahead of where she's supposed to be because it just jumps straight ahead.
Yeah, Crunchyroll does that sometimes too, which is fun.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, I did get some gaming stuff done this week.
Nice.
I beat Donkey Kong Country, which is a pretty fun game.
Hmm.
I was satisfied with my time with it. It wasn't like mind blowing or anything, but it was a fun little side-scrolling platformer.
It's a good game.
And then
Great soundtrack.
and over the course of like a couple hours, like pretty much like one big sitting and one small sitting, I beat Turtles in Time.
The Super Nintendo version.
No, actually, the arcade version.
Hmm. You might want to try the Super Nintendo version because it is better in some regards.
I will at some point. That was just what I had available on my device that I was using.
Hmm. And then
But
after that, you can play the Hyperstone heist on Genesis, which is essentially the Genesis version of Turtles in Time, but it's slightly different.
I actually so my little gaming handheld thing that I use, I actually they're on sale right now for like $60 on Amazon. So I ordered one for Xander for Christmas. Getting ahead of the game a little bit.
Nice.
Because he has expressed interest. He keeps saying he wants one. So I think he wanted one of like the different styles, but the one that I have is like I have had zero problems with it. So I feel like going with the safer route is probably best. I got him the atomic purple though.
Oh, I mean, the best, of course.
So I did have the plain black, which is what I prefer.
Yeah, other than that, I didn't get a lot of gaming in. I did get I was on a manga kick recently because it's when I'm tired, I can read better than I can watch stuff somehow.
Saying, oh, it depends on what. Like if I'm tired, I can't watch kaiju because I fall asleep. Which isn't to say anything bad about kaiju. It's just something about like the style of show. It just puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, I did watch them by the way. We watched them last night.
Oh, nice. So you finally finished. What did you think of that ending cliffhanger?
It was. I was like, based on the way that last episode started, I'm like, this is gonna be one of those season endings, isn't it? And it's like, yep.
There was
So
Would you
now
believe? Would
this
you
is like
believe?
a full on. Huh? What?
Would you believe we're already in Endgame?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, based on what you've told me, like we only have like what one more season's worth of material,
Probably.
and just continuing to like go along with what I've been saying this past season. Um, a lot of my feelings about Kaiju and Dandadan have kind of swapped because when it was the first seasons, that way that the first season of Dandadan ended really pissed me off, and the first season of Kaiju ended fairly neatly. And while there was a bit of a cliffhanger at the end of Dandadan season 2, it wasn't nearly as egregious. And then Kaiju was just like, yeah, fuck you.
So the problem is there is no fucking way they could have cut that well. Because to cut that at a satisfying spot, they either would have had to have made the season stupidly short, or it would have been they would have had to stretch it out at least like 4 more episodes.
That's fair. I mean, they could have just. I mean, it would have taken longer to come out, but they could have just done a 24 episode season.
They could have, but fortunately, that's not how anime works anymore.
Well, it depends on the show. I mean, we got 24 episode seasons of fucking Frieren and Apothecary Diaries, and
Yeah,
some
but
other shows too.
they do split those into 2 separate halves usually.
Apothecary didn't. Not this season, at least.
Well, they kept going, but they were technically split in 2.
Yeah, but if there's no weight, then I don't count it. If there's no time between parts, if it's literally week to week the whole time through, then I don't count it.
Fair.
That's me personally, though.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
So
Kaiju, that was
obsessed. Francis is obsessed with the K-pop Demon Hunters now.
nice.
She's a very musical kid, so it makes sense.
That's definitely a movie. When we do eventually cover that, I'll have things to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll leave that there for now.
Frankly, I got to rewatch it because it has been a while, but
fair. We'll definitely have to have Cindy on for that one because I know she enjoys that movie very much, and I don't know, based on how you just said that, I feel like that might be a fun conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I just I didn't love it like most. I didn't love it like most people do, but I'll save that for later. I think Alex might try to join us for that one too, possibly. So
that'd be cool.
Keep that in mind. Going back to what I was saying, though, I've been reading some manga. I finally just said fuck it, and I'm diving full into Komi right now.
How's that going?
Very good. My God, there's so much fucking content that they could have easily covered, but nope, we end it right at. They literally end Komi, the anime, right where it gets interesting.
Well, you never know. You never know. I mean, Netflix is pretty stupid about how they do stuff sometimes with anime, but it could still happen. Stranger things have happened.
It could. You'd think it would, especially with how successful like My Dress Up Darling and like other similar shows have been, but yeah.
Yeah, see that thing that Slade sent us, I don't know if that like I don't know where that voting came from, but that shocked me that Dress Up Darling was like voted like the best summer anime.
Well, I was trying to think like the other shows that came out around the same time.
I mean, it's kind of hard to see. You could classify this as either spring or summer, but Apothecary, because it came out in spring but went through the summer, so that was kind of a weird one. Sakamoto Days was good. Again, I really enjoyed this season of Dandadan. And Dr. Stone fucking was killing it. Although I feel like Dr. Stone doesn't get as much attention as it should. Because it is a very good series.
I think a big part of it is the fact that Dress Up Darling just had such a solid beginning to end. Like there was like no bullshit. Like it very much was just a starting point, ending point, ended very satisfyingly, even if it doesn't get another season.
That last episode kind of pissed me off a little bit, though.
Why?
You know why. They made that whole fucking thing about like I have to tell him now's the time. I have to do it now, or else blah blah blah. And then she doesn't do it.
But that's so in character for Marin. Like,
I'm just saying, there was literally no better moment. There's no better moment. They were fucking standing on the balcony. There was a sunset. They just had that whole big day together. Like, there was no better time. Like,
yeah,
I doubt we're gonna get a better opportunity throughout the show.
I'm sure when it finally, because the manga's already over, so I'm sure we already know it happens. But I'm sure when it does happen, it's probably gonna be better. Because I guarantee,
Well,
even if she said it, Gojo would have been like, "I like being your friend too, Marin," and then that would have.
She's probably gonna blurt it out randomly. That's probably how it's gonna happen.
And it probably will still take Gojo 5 minutes to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's been pretty much all I've accomplished this week. I did not get much done.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think about what I want to watch next. You see, I kind of want to like keep on the I want to keep on the theme of, spooky month, whatever. So I want to kind of stick to like spookier shows. So I was thinking it's been a long time since I watched it, and I know like people have opinions on it, especially because of how it just kind of stops. It doesn't even end; it just kind of stops. But I was kind of thinking about rewatching Dead Man Wonderland.
That's one. Have you
It's
watched?
a fun series. I have read the manga before, so I do know how it actually ends. It's one that I need to collect at some point.
You need a quick one that's pretty simple. There's a Mariko-chan.
Okay. I'll have to make
That's like
that later.
It's like a horror comedy. It's only like
Okay.
12 episodes.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
I've been trying to squeeze in like a couple episodes here and there, but I'm not doing like the heavy watching that I've been doing. So
yeah. I guess now's about a good time to get into the final untitled Darker Than Black segment.
yes. And we're covering 3 episodes this week, the final 3.
Yes.
Kind of. Because that one fanfic episode was technically episode 26.
Yeah.
But we did it earlier.
That fucking ending stinger where it's like, wait, hold, not so fast. We still got one more story. And I was like, what? And I'm like, oh, I already watched this. Right.
Yeah. Which is funny. Like, so you kind of get now why it's a confusing thing if you don't know. Like, if you're just kind of watching it, not really paying like full attention to like the plot line.
Especially if like with how this ends, and I'm like, wait, so if you had no idea and just watched fucking 26, you'd have been like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. That's pretty much exactly what happened to me too. Like the first time I watched it through, I was like, "What? Wait, hold on! Like I thought we already did this. And isn't he dead? Like what's going on?" Like,
yeah, yep. But yeah, so we're in the final arc, well, final storyline, I guess.
Yes. So episode 23, God is in His heaven. That's another thing is like unlike all the previous ones. While these 3 episodes are technically part of a same storyline, they all have different names, which we haven't seen up to this point. So this episode starts with a flashback of Hay in South America. And he starts fighting Gojo. The dude legit just looks just like Gojo.
Which Gojo? The one from
like Jujutsu Kaisen Jojo. Okay. Like he's got the white spiky hair, he's got the blindfold, like it looks just fucking like him.
I was gonna say he's fighting my Joseph Darling Gojo. What's he doing in South America?
No. He's painting Hina dolls. But yeah, and he just fucking like
that's what's going on.
It makes me wonder, like, did fucking the mangaka for Jujutsu Kaisen watch Dark Than Black and see that guy and be like, hey, I'm gonna make him the most OP dude in my show. He looks cool. I like him.
I don't know.
But anyways, like,
I was gonna say, considering the amount of people that have seen Darker Than Black, it's very unlikely that he saw it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Aniplex is an American thing, isn't it?
True.
It's probably more available there.
Fair enough.
But anyways, so yeah, he's fighting the Gojo looking motherfucker, and he takes him out pretty quickly. It's fucking kind of brutal too. He like fucking hangs him from a tree. But then he's like running through the woods, and he ends up encountering his sister Pi, who's standing in a shallow pool, surrounded by corpses of people she killed.
As you do.
And she's like, look, hey, I made the stars fall. Which is kind of creepy when you think about it.
Yeah,
then
and
we cut to the opening.
If you forget that whole thing about the contractors and the stars and stuff, and you just hear someone say that, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. But we after the opening title, we get our favorite character, Guy Kurosawa, who is being hired to essentially write a kid's book report about stars. And he has to get a bunch of stories that people have about the old stars before they went away. Because apparently there's this big rumor going around that that apparently that night the old stars are going to be visible again for some reason. And like a lot of this, and this rumor goes around, like everybody's hearing about it, everyone's talking about it. Like, you know, as we'll see later in the episode, it's kind of like a big deal, even though it ends up being overcast and raining.
I'm glad that he came back for the final storyline, because he's like the best recurrent character in the show.
Yeah, and even mooches a meal out of hay, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and his assistant, who I just realized is voiced by Rimuru.
Oh yeah. And also like during that whole scene where he's getting the job, like I don't even remember the context of it, but at some point he references call girls. And like the mother's like so aghast because her kid is sitting right next to her.
Yeah.
And then like the assistant chick tries to like stomp on his foot, but he moves, and then the tea slides off the tray and lands in his lap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty great. Love the fucking stupid slapstick antics with them.
Yeah, they are the comic relief of this show. I like the fact that they're basically uninvolved with the actual ongoing plot. They're just kind of there.
Yeah, but we need characters like that in this kind of show. Because this show, no pun intended, gets kind of dark sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we end up getting flashing over to Chief Kirihara, and she's talking to like the police director or whatever, like I don't even know what his fucking role is. I don't know he's the director. I don't know what like his actual status is. But apparently like they're talking about Troy Baker and how he died and everything. And essentially the director is like, yeah, whatever, he was a contractor, who gives a shit, fuck him. And obviously she's not very happy about that because she saw his humanity in a way that a lot of other people didn't. And she says something about like, oh, like he told me to trust my gut, and like I feel this, whatever. And he's like, wait, he contacted you before he died? And I love how she does it too, because she's like, that was a joke, which is kind of like the Troy Baker character is like, it's kind of like his catchphrase throughout this series.
Yeah,
he would just say the most outrageous shit and be like, oh, that was a joke. So then we flash over to Huang telling, because they're still over at the bench that like Hay kind of freaked out at in the last episode. And Huang's telling Mao and Yin about like Hay, Amber, and Pi, like how they went to like the big like contract war in South America and everything. And we see another flashback of that time, and Pi is just kind of like asleep in Hay's lap. And apparently that's her price for using her powers. And they don't really get into the specifics of it. Is it just like, oh, she has to sleep? Or is it she has to sleep like in someone's lap? Like, I don't know the exact details of it, but for some reason she's sitting in his lap sleeping. And then like Amber in the flashback comes up to him, like older Amber.
Yeah.
and like they're just kind of shooting the shit for a minute. And I gotta say, it's pretty weird hearing Laura Bailey not kind of do the little girl voice,
Yeah. Or
like
the little
hearing
boy
her like normal
voice.
speak. Yeah, like her like normal speaking voice is so like normal, I guess, if that's how I want to say it. Like,
It's like the closest thing I can think of is like Lust.
it's almost like you can't even tell that
Yeah,
it's Laura
because
Bailey.
she's either doing like the really young girl voice, the very young boy voice, the Toru voice, or the Rise voice. Like, not her regular voice.
Hmm. So it was definitely interesting to hear that because you don't usually hear that kind of performance from her, which I've noticed has been kind of a trend in this show. Like there's been a lot of actors that we've seen a lot of over the years in this show, doing roles they don't normally do.
Hmm.
But it is kind of cool to see that. Um, but anyways, Huang and Mao kind of speculate about how Hay might have been kind of the inciting incident for the big event that happened in South America that made it kind of disappear, but not, because like that whole deal is still kind of weird.
Hmm.
But anyways, we jump back to Guy, and he's going around asking people about their any memories they have about the old stars, and the first people that he asks are Hay's landlady and her husband, and she's like, "Yeah, whatever. Like, you've seen one star, you've seen them all. There's really no difference between these ones and those ones."
Has the husband ever appeared, or is this his first appearance?
We've seen him a little bit in the background, but this is the first time he's ever spoken. Because
Okay.
when and they even kind of reference this too, because Guy asks him after she says that, and she's like, "Oh, don't bother asking him. He never has anything to say." And he gets on like this like long-winded story about going to see a meteor shower with their daughter, like, and like the landlady chick, she's like flabbergasted that he had so much to say about it, like.
Yeah. Also, they have a daughter, apparently.
Yeah, right. Speaking of daughters, they also go to the ramen shop and they ask the guy who owns it and his daughter about their memories about it, and they had kind of similar stories. Which actually, I don't know, was it ever actually said that girl was his daughter? I always thought she just worked there.
It wasn't important at the time.
I guess so. But anyways, the chief Kirihara ends up bumping into Hay, and they kind of like go on a date randomly.
Yeah. At least she thinks it's a date. He's there just for the free food.
I mean, it pretty much is it. I mean, they go out to eat. They go. Actually, I think they go to that same ramen shop. Oh, no, because they went to like a fancy restaurant. 'Cause that's where they bump into Guy. But yeah, they go out to eat and they eat a bunch of food and they're just kind of like, well, actually, like, because like they're talking at the restaurant and he's like, "Oh, what made you want to, talk to me or whatever?" And she's like, "Oh, well, you kind of look like somebody that I know, and I don't know, maybe want to reach out to you for some reason." And he's like, "Oh, it's not like a criminal that you're chasing, is it?" And she gets real silent for a second. He's like, "Oh, fuck." Like it is. And then he like kind of plays a trick on her. He's just like, "Don't move. There's someone behind you, like spying on us." And like she just starts dying laughing, like, "Yeah, you're full of shit. You're a terrible actor." Which easily could have been the case that it was actually true. But who knows?
And then Guy and his assistant show up.
Yeah, because they ate there.
And we get the funniest interaction.
Always.
We get the funniest interaction in the episode.
Yeah, right.
Where his assistant's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were into older middle-aged women." And she's like, "Middle-aged?" Just like with a question mark.
Yeah, she like drops all of her shit when she hears that too. She's like, "What?"
But then the part that made me laugh out loud is the fact that Guy doesn't push her away. He just fucking like zooms her out of existence. He's like, "Get out of here with that." He's like,
"Yeah."
It's like the sound effect. She's just like, gone.
He's like, "Hey Lee, buddy, could you do a friend a favor and cover my bill?"
Yeah. And then they leave for the rest of the episode. I think we don't see them again until like the end.
Well, we see them like when we're getting that big like when we're getting all those different shots of all the different people throughout the city, like looking up at the stars, like looking, waiting for it. So we see them a little bit there, but it's nothing serious. But so then after that, Hay and Kirahara end up going to the batting cages because apparently it's something that they do.
That's just a thing in Japan.
And Japan loves baseball, man. I don't know what to tell you.
They do.
Which is funny because baseball really fell off here in a lot of ways.
Because it's so boring. It's the boringest, one of the most boring sports to watch.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's a reason why everyone's drinking at a baseball game. So
that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, they end up just kind of like having like a bunch of really deep conversations just about life and their past and like how they feel about everything that's been going on, and they kind of have a moment, which is nice to see. But eventually, Kirahara ends up leaving, and Hay, starts walking home. He's like, "Oh, that was nice. I guess I'm just gonna go and get an early night or whatever." No, that's not the case. Because the second he gets to his apartment building, Mao comes out of nowhere and he's like, "Bro, we gotta go. You can't go home. The syndicate decided to cut us loose. They're gonna kill us." Like randomly, completely out of nowhere, and just like, we are on the chopping block. We gotta get the fuck out of here. And Huang fucking like speeds out around the corner, and his car is all shot up. And they're like, "All right, get in. We gotta go." And then this random fucking dude just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it seems like he's got like gravity powers or something. That's what it seems like to me. And he's holding them all in place with the gravity powers, and all of a sudden the elf dude with the blood shows up and kills him, and he's like, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, he showed up and I was literally like, "Oh yeah, you just keep appearing in these episodes." And I'm always like, literally every time he shows up, I'm like, "All right, that guy."
Yeah. But basically he's like, "Amber sent me. I'm supposed to lead you into the gate so that you can go meet with her." And for some reason they decided to trust him, which, is what it is, I guess. But yeah, essentially the last scene of the episode we get is of Amber with her all her cronies, and she like shatters a piece of like the meteor fragment that we saw earlier in the series. It gives them all a piece because it's supposed to like amplify contractor powers. And basically they're starting their final mission. They're essentially their war against Pandora.
Yep.
And that's the end of the first episode. Episode 24, Meteor Shower. We do not get an opening song in this episode. Which was interesting because we get one in the next episode. So I don't know. You'd think next episode would be the one that they wouldn't have one for, but whatever.
I had to actually go back and check that because after I watched like the third episode, I was like, "Wait a minute, did I miss the title sequence?"
Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, they're driving down the road on their way to like where Huang's gonna drop them off to go to the gate, and like Huang's just kind of like going on and on about how he wants to retire and go fishing, and Mao's just kind of like making fun of him, which is pretty funny. And eventually Huang's like, "Yeah, whatever," and then he goes to drop them off, and they all start saying their farewells and stuff, and Yin gives him a hug out of nowhere, and he's like super shocked by this. And it's kind of a nice moment because Huang's been such a dick this whole series, and like in this episode, you see like no, he did give a shit. He was just kind of putting on airs.
I think he always liked Yin because he would always like be like,
because she was quiet. She didn't speak her opinion,
and then she starts showing emotion, and he was like, "Oh God, she's alive."
Oh God, feelings. No.
Yeah, the second they started saying
I also think. Oh, I was gonna say I also think that part of his kind of opening up to them was because of the whole deal with his contractor girlfriend.
Yeah,
that helps his opinion on them.
True.
But you were saying.
I was gonna say though, the second they all started saying their goodbyes, I was like, "Oh, he gonna die, isn't he?" Which
yeah. Well, we'll get there when we get there. So, yeah, Chief Kirihara had gotten a call from her dad, basically being like, "You need to get the fuck out of the city. Shit's going down." So her first instinct, instead of listening to him, is like, "I'm gonna go to Ground Zero." So she goes to talk to the doctor dude from the last episode, because he's obviously at the center of it. And when she gets there, he and that one Pandora guy that we've been seeing throughout the series are just kind of hanging out in the room or whatever, and they start explaining to her about everything that happened with the gate in South America, and BK201's role in it. And at one point, like, she's kind of like, "Oh yeah, and he caused it, this and that." And the doctor kind of taking it back for a second. He's like, "He, at the time of South America, BK201 was assigned to a female." So at this point, like, the pieces are starting to fall together. I don't know if they did for you at least, but essentially, they say that the Evening Primrose, Amber's group, is trying to cause the same thing, which will essentially wipe out Japan. Like, everyone who's not a contractor or a doll in Japan is going to be killed, and Japan will be sealed off from the world forever. And yeah, like, at this point, like, full-on war is going on. Like, the contractors and Pandora are, like, straight up just killing each other all over the place. And we keep getting these little flashes of contractors that we only see, like, this once. And we just get, like, little glimpses of their powers. There's this one dude who just kind of throws a basketball, and the basketball turns into a fucking black hole.
Yeah, this was like borderline quirks from My Hero Academia, where I'm like, okay, their power is I'm weird. Got it.
Like, how the fuck? Like, I want to know what his price is, because that's a fucking insane power.
It's probably that he has to play football or something.
Probably, or he has to, like, I don't know, fucking rub dirt in his eyes or something. I don't know. Fucking, this show's weird sometimes.
You must eat the basketball, and then you can use your power.
Yeah. So yeah, Elfman leads them through the tunnel. Eventually, they hit a dead end, and then he's like, "All right, this is where I told Amber I'd bring you. Now I'm gonna kill you because I still hate you for scarring my face." And, like, he goes on, like, about how, like, you know, "You did this to me, and you fucked up all my plans, and I was so humiliated." And I was like, humiliated? That's a weird word for a contractor to use. You know, kind of further kind of showing the hints of, like, the evolution of contractors. So we flash back to the chief hanging out with the doctor and shit, and she's, like, pissed. Like, she's, like, not having it. Like, this whole plan is stupid and genocide is bad. She would not be friends with Eren Yeager.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like, wrong. Yeah, right. But then the director, like the police director that she was arguing with in the last episode, shows up, and he's like, I support this plan. You're wrong." And he also reveals that he's a member of the Syndicate.
Yeah.
Because apparently everybody is a fucking member of the Syndicate.
Yeah, when that came out, I was like, okay, sure. Why not?
And ultimately, he ends up explaining that the Syndicate is deeply seated in just about every major power in the world. Including all governments and Pandora. So, yeah, the Syndicate is basically running the world.
Yeah.
So then we flash back. Hay defeated Elfman off screen. We don't even get to see how that played out, but he's got fucking Hay's big ass, like, knife just in his chest. So yeah, he's not doing great.
Yeah.
And
it was like that battle wasn't important.
And he's pretty much like, "Oh, I knew this was gonna happen because Amber can see the future, or she can move through time, or whatever the fuck her power is, and, like, she never would have let me be the person to lead you if there was even a chance of me killing you." And they're like, "Okay, then why the fuck did you do it?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the, I guess, the pride thing, which is apparently also very uncontractor like.
Yeah.
But essentially, he uses his power one final time because obviously, in the state he's in, there's blood everywhere. And when he activates his power, it opens up the way that was previously blocked off. And then we flash to Huang, who had been being chased by syndicate people, and a whole bunch of them crowd around him. And he fucking takes a bunch of them out with him because he's got some fucking blocks of C4 in his car, and he sets them off.
Yeah, when that happened, I was just like, oh, he's just gone now. I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty sad.
Well, yeah, because especially 'cause he's finally turning the corner, and it's like, oh, and now he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens a lot in this show.
Yeah, I noticed.
So then we flash over to the redheaded dude and the naked teleporting chick.
Yes.
And because they pretty much just teleport straight into like the base where they're keeping the particle accelerated machine that's supposed to destroy the gate. And they're getting ready to destroy it.
Oh yeah, we also get that amazing like line where he's offering her clothes and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I can handle it. Don't worry." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I can't."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't want to see your tits. Put them away."
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that would be really distracting.
Yeah, especially with like all this crazy shit going on. Like you don't need that staring at you. So yeah, like as they're getting ready to destroy the machine, all of a sudden they both burst into flames and they look up and they see Fire Chick from episode 3.
I was like, oh god, like they straight up dead. Like,
but then like all of a sudden, like you blink and they're back to like just arriving again. And I don't know exactly how this happened, but apparently Amber somehow gave them the ability to see that before it happened, or give him the ability. For some reason, I don't understand how that worked. But since he was able to see that little snippet of like Final Destination style and everything, but he saw that snippet of the future, so he knew she was there. And he blasts her with his air cannon, and then he destroys the machine. But then she still sets them on fire.
Yeah.
But teleporting lady was still able to get away because apparently the fire doesn't teleport with her. But redhead dude is super dead.
Yeah. Dead.
And also after that whole big story we had in episode 3 and 4 about the fire chick, the high school girl, like that's really that's the conclusion of that story. Like from all the way back then, it's just no, she's on a balcony, sets them on fire, she gets blasted. We don't know if she's still alive. She's just that's all we get. There she is.
Yep. It was like I forgot about her to the point that when she popped up, I was like, "Oh right, that."
Oh yeah, fire. But yeah, essentially like the Pandora people are all freaking out, like, "Oh no, they destroyed the machine." But that one Pandora guy played by Chuck Huber is like, "Don't worry, Doctor, we have a backup." He's like, "A backup? Why didn't you tell me?"
Because of course they
like
do.
because it had to be a secret because backups. So their plan is still in effect. But anyway, back in the gate, Yin is following specters through, kind of leading the way. And Mao, so like we established earlier in the series, Mao has to connect to like internet networks in order to kind of like make up for the parts of the cat's brain that aren't human. So he can just kind of like hack into sites and databases and shit. So he's hacking into Pandora's files trying to find information. And basically he learns about how Evening Primrose has been collecting dolls, and essentially their purpose was to essentially work as like a network of dolls, kind of like the internet. Because a single doll can't send a specter very far through the gate, but if you have a whole network of them, then you can get a lot further. And that's essentially why Evening Primrose has been collecting them. Unfortunately, he spent a little bit too long in Pandora's database, and they like kind of like fried his machinery or something. And he's like, I'm about to just go full cat and just be a cat. so that kind of sucks. But it was cool hanging out with you guys. And he like starts to say something like, "If you ever see a cat that looks like me," and then he just goes full cat and runs off.
Yeah. I was like, oh great, there goes two now.
But they do find him later, so that was nice. Or we assume we just see hands picking him up, so we don't know if it was actually them. But I like to think it was Ian.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Pandora found the big doll network that they had been following the Spectres for and killed them all. So Yin's like, all right, I guess I'll just hop in the river and I'll use my Spectre to find the way. That's where the episode ends for this one. That's episode 24, Meteor Shower, is finished. We're on to the final episode, which is titled, Does the Reaper Dream of Darkness Darker Than Black? Kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, I read that title. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, sure.
I mean, a lot of anime titles are pretty ridiculous.
I know. That one was just like, that one I was just kind of like, there's too many words in this one. They should have just called the final episode Darker Than Black. Like, they didn't need all that other shit.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody actually says the phrase Darker Than Black of the series. That one like lead doll in the police's network of dolls says something like Darkness Beyond Black, something like that.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, okay.
It was like so close. Not quite though. So anyways, we start the episode with them meeting up with Amber inside the gate, and they're like right, like pretty much in the center of the gate. And Amber's even smaller than she was before, so they clearly been using her power.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that for a minute. I was like, wait a minute. Why is she small now?
Yeah, she's like less than half his size at this point. Like, she's tiny. And Hay and Amber are kind of talking about her motives and like why she did all the things she did, and kind of like talking about how like he just couldn't accept that she was, I don't want to say doing the right thing, because she was still planning to annihilate the entire population of Japan aside from the dolls and contractors, but she's at least defending her kind, which is very Eren Yeager-like.
Yeah.
Not quite on his scale, though.
Yeah, she's not throwing her friends away.
But she really goes under the... Yeah, right. Well, I mean, she kind of threw Hay away a little bit.
Fair.
And I don't think she ever, like, really sought out Havoc.
True.
But, anyways, she kind of goes into this long-winded explanation about how contractors and dolls are evolving, and how Pi was among the first to start going through that evolutionary process, and that she had instigated, like, or triggered the whole gate incident in South America. Not 100% sure why Pi did that, but essentially it was like she felt guilty about Hay, because Hay joined the syndicate because she did, and because he never really wanted to kill people, he never really wanted to become the Black Reaper and do all that shit, because he wasn't a contractor when they all joined up and everything. He was the only non-contractor in their group. And Pi kept Hay in the dark about all their plans and stuff, because if he had been told about it ahead of time, the Syndicate would have just killed him. Especially since he was just a dude. Like, he would have been about as expendable as Huang was. So, yeah, he would have been super dead ahead of time. So that's why he was kept in the dark and didn't know any of the details about what happened. But then she does the big reveal that Hay was never a contractor. He still isn't a contractor. And apparently Pi's power, which is Hay's power, goes beyond just electric shocks and such. It actually have the ability to manipulate matter at a quantum level.
Ah, of course.
And essentially what happened when the gate incident happened in South America is Pi fused essentially with Hay. So he and her are technically the same being, but he's not the contractor part, and that's why he doesn't have to pay a price.
Oh. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. And who's
kind of, which
paying
actually thematically is very fitting with this week's main topic.
Yeah. Only
When you
not
think
as
about
not as horrific.
No, not even close. But where were we? And basically, Amber explains that she wants him to use Pi's power to essentially cause the same event in Hell's Gate that would save all the contractors. But Hay's like, fuck that. I don't want to kill all these people. That's not cool. That ain't me. And then we flash over to Pandora, and they're activating their machine. And Kirihara's there, like, he's just standing there. He's not doing anything. He's not going to do the thing you guys are afraid of. There's literally no reason to do this. And but the director stops her. And basically they activate the machine, and it seems like it worked.
Yeah, and the opening of Akira happens.
Yeah, we get like this really weird kind of cartoony sequence where they're just kind of like in like this colorful fog world. They're inside the TV in episode 4, kind of.
Yeah.
The stars, they can see all the old stars. And he kind of has like, he sees all these, and he's his kid version, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
And he's crying because he thinks he failed. He thinks that the thing happened and that all the people are dead. And he's like super guilty about it. And then Pi shows up and starts talking to him. We see seeing all these ethereal versions of Pi and Huang and Mao and pretty much everybody we've seen throughout the show. We see Fire Girl. We see Huang's girlfriend. We see pretty much everybody up to this point that we've seen throughout the series. Most of which are dead. We see Troy Baker. He shows up. And basically they're all kind of telling him like dude, just like be you, like do you, like stop trying to like be like, oh, I'm a contractor, oh, I'm a human. Just do you, do what you think is right. And as we had this really touching moment where the dude who flew off in the cartoon rocket, like, you know, gives him his hand and helps him up and everything. It was really nice because they had a nice bond, you know.
Yeah.
But you can't get over the cartoon rocket thing. It was just so bizarre.
Yeah.
But basically Amber's the only one who's kind of trying to talk him out of it. Like, no, like you should choose the route that will give you the most safety and security. Like, I want you to be safe. I want you to be protected and have a good life. Basically he's just like, no, that ain't gonna happen. They embrace, they kiss, and then
Thank God she was
back time.
Thank God she was back in her adult form for that, by the way.
They were in the gate. It's okay. You know, everything is the way it should be.
That was because I was going to say, like, ugh, that would have been bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, Amber turns back time. And, yeah, she's, like, super dead. She just kind of, like, vanished from existence.
We also got that really weird scene where, like, Yin was, like, calling his name. And I'm like, you just kind of, like, it's weird. It was weird hearing her actually say full sentences.
Yeah, she, like, kind of pulled him out of it. Because he was, like, getting, like, sucked into, like, this weird, like, void. Yeah. And she kind of called him back. And, like, you hear her being like, oh, don't leave me alone. Which is, like, the most emotion we've ever seen from her.
Yeah, but it wasn't even, like, in her weird monotone. Like, she actually had emotion in it. And I was like, that's weird. And then I realized she's voiced by the same actress who voices Tony Chopper. Which I'm like, oh, this makes sense.
That is super weird. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they're back in the gate. Like we're back at the point like right before the Pandora was about to activate the machine, and Hayes like, I know what to do, you know. And then you go to activate the machine, and it starts up. It starts doing its thing, and then it just kind of fizzes out. And it turns out that Hay had used his power to essentially blip the particles that they were using to destroy the gate out of existence, so they can no longer destroy the gate. But he's also not going to destroy like the country and kill everybody.
Mm.
So like, you know, the chief is like, yeah, I was right. Fuck you guys. You guys are stupid. You were gonna kill all these people for no reason. And the doctor's like, oh, thank God he didn't do the thing. Looks like everything worked out for the best. And then the Pandora guy punched him in the face.
Yeah, that guy was just a dick.
Yeah, he was.
Then he got what was coming.
Until he gets shot in the chest by the director guy, who is very obviously just like, we're gonna pin it on this guy, and I never had any involvement with this, and the syndicate doesn't exist.
The way he does it too is he shoots him with the gun while wearing gloves, puts it in the other guy's hand, makes sure his fingerprints are all over it, and just goes, "All right, this was an accident, a suicide. Gonna move on now."
Yeah, he totally shot himself in the chest, right?
Yeah. But then Kurahara's like, "Surprise! I've been filming this whole time." And he's just like,
I have you on tape.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, do you now? Grabs neck. I'm like, what did you expect was going to happen here, ma'am?
He's like, I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah. He's like, oh, then, I'm stronger than you. Die now. I was like, oh, she didn't think that through.
But it's okay because her simp boy shows up and saves her. And, no, it wasn't her simp boy. He showed up afterwards. It was actually Hay. Hay shows up and fucking knocks him out. And he's like getting ready to kill him. And she's like, no, don't kill him. We're going to send him to jail because the law.
Yeah. And then she's like, Lee, come back.
Yeah, he's like, Lee, come back. And he's like, Lee doesn't exist anymore. I'm Batman. And he flies away.
Yeah, he just walks off. He's like, fuck you, I'm gone.
And she's like, well, shit, I kind of like that guy. I like that guy. Damn it. But yeah, pretty much after that point, we cut and like some time has passed. We actually get the exact, almost a frame for frame scene of literally the first scene of the show where we see this dude run up on the roof and he's about to fly away with his gravity powers. And then Chris Abbott actually stops him this time. Like it's almost exactly the same scene that we opened the show with. Basically, like, you know, we kind of get like a voiceover just explaining like contractors are starting to become public knowledge. Like, all this stuff is starting to come out. The syndicate still hasn't been proven to exist yet, but yeah, the director went to jail and all this shit's happening. A lot of change is happening essentially, and but the chief is still kind of holding a torch for Hay, I guess, because she goes to his apartment. She's talking to the landlady, and she's like, "Oh, he was such a good boy. I don't know what happened. He just kind of ditched one day." And then she thinks she sees him on the street, and she runs after him. She says, "Lee, come back. I have so many things to tell you." And he just kind of vanishes. He's not there anymore. And they get one little scene of, we see Mowcat being picked up. And we see a full body Spectre, which I don't think we've seen up to this point, which I think it's supposed to telegraph like how much they're evolving. Because normally the Spectres kind of just look like, I don't know, like video game slimes, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I got to that. The implication there is like, oh yeah, Yin's still alive.
Yeah. So Hay and Yin apparently went off into the sunset together, and it kind of ends there.
Yeah. For the second season, that is even harder to find than this fucking season.
Yeah, right. So now that we have completed the show, I want to know how you feel about it as a whole.
It was entertaining. It's definitely a show that I feel like is going to take multiple watches to get 100%. Because there's a lot of shit that goes on in this show.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has a lot of kind of isolated stories, and they have this big overarching story going in the background, and See, in a lot of ways, I think Cowboy Bebop did it better, where they kind of spaced out like the info drops, I guess, about like the overarching story, and
Oh,
there's
that
just like a
was
couple. There was like one set of episodes in particular where they just dumped a lot of shit. I think it was when Amber was introduced. They just dumping a lot
yeah.
of information at once.
Like
It's kind of hard to follow.
they'd go through like a couple episodes that were like very based in like the plot, and then we'd get just like an episode about random contractor of the week, and then we get an entire episode with Guy Kurosawa that's barely involved with anything, and then we get this info dump. But then we go back to like the weird like episode of the week kind of things.
Yeah. Well, it does keep the show fresh in a lot of ways, but I can see how it would be a little confusing to for a first watch, at least, especially the way we watched it. We're only watching one storyline a week.
I forget, did Mao have a spotlight episode, or was he kind of like the only one who didn't?
Kind of. It was actually the Guy episode where we meet the other guy who swaps bodies, but he swaps human bodies. We kind of got a little bit of explanation about Mao, but that was about it.
Wasn't like a full-on backstory episode or anything.
Right. Nothing on the level of like what we got with Huang.
Or Yin's, for that matter.
Yeah, for sure. I think he was like the only one who was just like, yeah, I'm just a contractor. I barely changed as the show goes on.
He's like, I'm a cat. Like, that's my power.
I am a stereotypical anime talking cat.
It's always a black cat too, which is just funny.
Of course it is. But yeah, so this is one of my personal favorites, just because of like it's so different in a lot of ways. Like, it does a lot of things differently than a lot of other shows. It's not your stereotypical like battle show. Like, there are fights and action scenes and stuff, but it's not like what you usually see for shonen. It's more kind of rooted on the ground, you know. And in a lot of ways, it kind of shows a lot of human nature throughout, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is something you're planning on doing or if you're interested at all. But as we've mentioned, there is a second season. And there are, I think, 3 or 4 OVAs that connect the two that take place in between. I believe the second season's only like 12 episodes, though. It's a short one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the same structure where we have all these like mini story arcs throughout. It's kind of like one continuous arc. So,
and these
are all,
up to you if you'd like to. These are all completely just like impossible to find too, right?
I mean, unless you go to totally legal websites.
Well, yeah, unfortunately.
That's about the only way, unless you want to find bootlegs on eBay, which do exist and they're not very expensive.
True. Or you want to buy the
very I've been thinking officials. About it. I'd rather get the bootlegs.
Yeah.
As we've seen, bootlegs have come a long way.
They have, at least the DVD ones. The Blu-rays I've heard are still kind of sketchy.
Well, yeah, Blu-rays still kind of, yeah. And you know what? As long as Aniplex is going to be fucking Aniplex, I'll take the Blu-rays. Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
You know what fucking drives me insane too? Sony owns both Aniplex and Crunchyroll. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?
Literally no reason. We could have fucking Persona 4 the animation. We could have Baccano. We could have Darker Than Black. All these fucking shows. Like, no, just we don't get any of it.
Well, Persona 4 the animation is a bit in a deeper thing because Sentai dubbed that. And it's like there's a whole rights fucking mess going on there.
But yeah, it's just Aniplex being Aniplex, I guess.
Yep. But yeah, so that was the Untitled Darker Than Black segment. I'm sure in the future you'll be seeing a full-on retrospect like rip of all of these together. That is going to be fucking long. I dread the edit for that.
So I do, before we close it out entirely, what would you give the show for a rating? Like, where do you? Obviously, I'm not expecting it to be in your top 25, but like, where does it rank?
I gave it a 7 on Mal and like a 75 on AniList, which is good.
Solid. Solid.
Yeah. Like you got to be really bad to get like the lowest rating I've given out recently was the fucking vending machine show. I gave like a 5. So
Mhm.
and according to Alex, that was too generous. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
fair.
75%, I'd say.
That's fair. Out of curiosity, I don't remember. What did you give Bakano?
What did I give Vakano? Um, knowing me, probably in a similar range, to be honest, because I tend to give 75 is like my 75 for the show, 70 for the specials.
Gotcha. That
That's
like your
pretty.
default if you're like I liked it, wasn't my favorite, but I liked it. Is that like your
Yeah,
default rating for that?
a show's got to really wow me to get higher than than a 75 or 70.
Fair. That's fair. But it's still a show that's worth watching. It's just a shame that it's not
Yeah,
widely available.
it's hard to recommend it to anybody because it's not easy to find. Hooray.
Yeah, which is why I gave you my video files
Yeah, so I could watch it totally
and
legally.
sent you bootlegs of Bakano.
Yes, because this is how it works. But
So guess what, Aniplex? If you're gonna keep this shit locked in the vault or charge inordinate amounts of money for it, you're not gonna get any money for it. So there you go.
yeah, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we have to reprint it. Fuck that."
Yeah.
And we're gonna pull it from streaming just to be an extra dick.
Oh shit.
Oh, but anyways, now moving on to our topic for this week, we're doing our third film in our uh, spooky films month, as I called it. And this week we are going to be. This is my second and final choice. We're talking about The Fly. Ignore the two, just The Fly. There is a sequel. It exists. Yeah, that's about as much as I'll say about it.
Fair.
Yeah. So The Fly, very famous film in a lot of ways. It's actually a remake of the 1958 film of the same name, directed by the legendary David Cronenberg, who is a master of this kind of film, like doing so much with so less. Like he had done films like Videodrome, Scanners, a whole bunch of like iconic films. Like that famous like clip of like the guy's head just exploding.
Yep, that's Scanners,
That
right?
Yep, that's from Scanners. Like that's a famous like David Cronenberg film.
Hmm.
What other things has he done? The Dead Zone, um,
Oh,
Naked
he did the Dead
Lunch.
Zone?
Yes, I believe so.
That was a good movie. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the History of Violence, Cosmopolis. He's done a lot of films over the years, and they're all not the most impressive films, like maybe from a technical standpoint, but he does so much with so little. And it's crazy. Like, so The Fly is the film we're talking about. Had a $9 to $15 million budget and it made 60.6 million, which for 80s money, that's pretty good. Famously starring Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, and John Getz as the three main characters in this film. There's not a ton of characters in general. There's basically those three.
Just three, really.
But do anything significant beyond a scene or two. Yeah, so The Fly is it weird that like The Fly doesn't really have a hero or a villain?
Yeah, because like by the end, the guy that seems like they're kind of trying to like do the hero stuff at the end. It's kind of like the biggest piece of shit in the movie.
Yeah, the guy who you think's the villain at the start of the film turns out to just kind of be he ends up being pretty insignificant to the overall plot for the most part, other than he indirectly causes the incident. And if anything, the main protagonist of this film is like a tragic villain.
Yeah, it's hard to even call him a villain because it's not his. It's not. I mean, it kind of is his fault for just being drunk and stupid, but I mean, it's not his fault. Like his actions after that, because his genetic structure and mind are altered beyond what he can control. Like, there's not really much. As the only thing you could really say that it's his fault is that he didn't, like, honestly, like the way, like, what would have been the happy ending version, like if there's an alternate ending, would have been him throwing asshole dude into the machine and turning human that way.
Yeah, but considering how like his plan clearly didn't, he didn't think his plan through very well. I don't think that would have helped much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Because
it's
in this,
sci-fi. He
I will say in the sequel, there's some fucking bullshit that they do to do some similar things, and I'm just like, sure, that totally makes sense. But yeah, um,
80s sci-fi does whatever the fuck it wants to do, or 90s. When did this
yeah,
movie come out?
86, I want to say.
Yeah, 80s sci-fi does whatever the fuck it wants. That's just how it goes. If the director wants it to work, it'll work.
Yeah, but yeah, so this film is one of those iconic body horror films for the time. Like it's only 96 minutes, which felt it felt about that. Like it wasn't. It was a quick film. Like it pretty much
Yeah.
structure is pretty contained. Like there's only really a few sets that they visit throughout the film,
Hmm.
and yeah, so this has got to be one of Jeff Goldblum's earliest roles. I'd have to say.
I have to imagine, because I don't think I've seen him in much before
Well, I
that
mean,
time period, at least.
he had like a bunch of stuff here and there. Invasion of the Body Snatchers was one.
That's fair.
But this was kind of like
I
the
haven't
movie.
seen it, but yeah.
This was kind of like the movie that really put him on the map because famously, because of the amount of prosthetics and like makeup and stuff to do this film, um, they had a hard time finding actors willing to take the part. Um,
Hmm.
and Goldblum famously agreed to take the part, and it's become in a lot of ways his one of his most iconic roles. As Seth Brundle, the Fly, the Brundle Fly, as he calls himself later on.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, that was weird.
and I'd say his like weird acting style that how he acts kind of works for this movie in a lot of ways
Hmm.
because he really does put on like that perfect like slowly becoming unhinged character.
Oh, for sure. He definitely sells that a lot throughout.
Yeah, because
Just
of
his
course,
medicine cabinet full of body parts.
yeah, yeah, because like the basic plot of the film is he's an inventor. He's created this revolutionary teleportation pod, which Pokemon fucking references this, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, that's bizarre.
Have you ever did you realize that going back and be like, wait a minute?
Yeah, the pot looks exactly the same as Bill's.
Yeah, when I played this like recently, like especially in the reading the manga, I'm like this is a fucking Fly reference. Like
Yep,
what a thing in a kid's game. Um,
so bizarre.
but yeah, so he creates this revolutionary like teleportation pod, which can essentially teleport one thing to another pod, which sounds very interesting. But I'm also thinking like, what would this be used for? Like, is those you need wires and shit? I don't think you can
Mhm.
do it via Wi-Fi yet. Um, 80s tech, of course. Um,
Yeah,
and he's super excited to show this off to a reporter named Veronica, and he basically shows it off by like being like, "Give me an item," the viewers. So he sends one of her stockings through, and she's like, "Is
yeah.
that a
Her
halt?"
first instinct is be like you got to assume she's got like a purse, and she might have like a little thing of lipstick or fucking, like anything. Like it could be anything. Her first instinct is like she starts to take her shoe off. Like, oh, she got to give him her shoe. Like, okay, and then she starts pulling her stocking. Like I was fully convinced when she started like reaching up there that I thought she was gonna pull her panties right off. Like, what the fuck? Where is this movie going?
Well, we learned that we learned that she's very quick about a lot of things in this movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's for
But
sure.
yeah. So they do the experiment. She's like, "Wow, this will be great for the magazine." He's like, "Wait, magazine?" And I'm like, sitting there like, "Did you not like? What, you just think she was a fan?" Like,
You invited a reporter to your home to show off your new fucking fancy. Like, did you not think she was gonna fucking write a story about it? Like,
yeah. And of course, he eventually meets up with her again the next day and decides, all right, let's film a documentary about this. And they have this discussion
you could write a book.
at a burger joint, and it was just so funny looking at that burger joint because I'm like, wow, these haven't changed at all, like since the '80s.
Hmm. Oh, was this before or after? Because there was a point where her boss, who was apparently also her ex, like she gets home and he's just there taking a shower at her place.
I think it was around the same point.
That was so fucking weird. Super good.
Yeah,
Like there are so many things, especially with that particular character, like that would not happen in a movie made today because that is just like, yeah, like there's so much sexual harassment in this movie.
yeah, he is like the
There's a lot.
that character is literally the definition of the human resources meme. Um, but yeah. Oh, here's where. Oh, okay, you're back.
Yep, I'm back.
Okay. Um, yeah, I was just saying though, like how that guy's like the literal image of the human resources meme.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yikes.
But yeah, after that, because she makes that whole in that whole scene, she's like, I don't even know if I'm gonna take the Brundle story. I might do this other random story here. Um,
Hmm.
but of course, she immediately goes back and they start filming, and he shows what happens when he tries to transport living matter. Um, the machine doesn't know how to handle that, and it puts things back together the wrong way.
Well, hold on. We can't just skim over this. Okay. So his first instinct, his first choice is like, I need to transfer living matter to show you what happens. So he goes and gets a fucking baboon.
I wonder if it's because like primates are similar to humans. 'Cause that's
Look,
his
mammals
goal.
are mammals, okay? Mammals are mammals. As I said when we were watching this, he could have walked down to any fucking Petco or whatever the fuck they had in the 80s, picked up a fucking feeder mouse, and used that. But no, his first instinct was like, I'm gonna go down to the fucking Asian market and pick up a baboon.
Also the fact too that it's implied that this isn't the first time he's done this.
He's turned multiple baboons inside out. That is fucked up, bro. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Um, which is funny too, because then he's like, yeah, the machine doesn't really understand the flesh. It just kind of guesses where things are supposed to go. And it's like, okay, so you didn't test anything, you just tried it and saw what happened. Um,
Mhm.
so then the two decide to just do it for no reason.
Yeah, that
After
kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, after they talk about how he wears the same suit every day, and she's like, "What? Do you just have the same set of clothes?" And he's like, "Yeah, like that's normal."
And
Um,
then she's like, "You're cute. Let's fuck."
yeah, just like that, and then he's suddenly like,
You literally, there's no build up to this relationship at all. It's just like, yeah, we're a thing now. We're just gonna
"Yeah,
bang all the time, and then
I
you'll be inspired.
I leaned on a micro board, and now have like a giant wound in my back that's not totally going to be a plot point later." Um,
Yeah, right.
and then he's like, "Wait a minute, you brought steaks. I've got an idea."
Let's raise the stakes.
Yeah, so he's like, "All right, eat this steak." She's like, yeah, it's all right. It's a steak. And he's like, okay, eat this one that was teleported. And she's like, there was a baboon in there. He's like, eat it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like I hope you cleaned it.
yeah. And she's like, it tastes wrong, like synthetic almost. He's like, okay. He somehow just figures it out from there. Like, okay.
So
Um,
I guess I will program knowledge about flesh into the computer. the 80s computer.
The whole time I realized rewatching it this time that I'm like, I forgot that I was like, oh yeah, the first part of this movie is basically just build up for the actual stuff, and they don't really go super deep into it because it's not important in the long run.
Hmm.
But yeah, so then they end up he ends up figuring it out, and he had another baboon on standby, of course. Um,
Hmm.
and they teleport it, and it's fine. And he's like, "We've done it. I can transport living things now, but I have to send it away to make sure it's living. It's fine." And she's
To
like,
make sure
"Oh,
it's okay.
yeah." And she's like, "Oh, good. We can go on a vacation together." And as he's like making these plans, she then this is the part that I was like confused by. Like she's like, "Oh, I have an ex that I have to go deal with, so I'm gonna like put you in serious self doubt and walk away with these
Yeah,
dangerous
because he like
machines."
because he's been like stalking her and like seeing her go there and such. So he put like a magazine cover with Jeff Goldblum's face on it or whatever, and like slid it on the door, and she sees it, and she's like, "I gotta go deal with this." Which that was really funny. The whole conversation that led up to that because she's like, "Let's go on a vacation. We got all this. We got a couple weeks before we get the results of the tests, and we'll go on vacation. We'll go to Florida and do all this, old couple shit." And he's like, "I got a better idea. Let's order Chinese food."
Yeah, you can see who's got the woman brain and who's got the man brain here. Um, uh, but then, of course, he was already drinking to begin with, and it was implied earlier that he doesn't hold his alcohol well. Um,
Mhm.
so he's just like talking to the baboon, and he's like, you know what? It's perfectly safe. I'm gonna teleport now. As there's a fly flying around the room, by the way, which I'm like, oh boy, we already see where this is going.
Yeah.
So of course, as she's basically telling the other guy to fuck off, he's teleporting himself with a fly that he didn't see fly into the pod.
Hmm.
And the start of the actual film's plot begins from here,
Yep.
where like she immediately comes back and wakes up in the middle of the night to see him doing pull-ups and backflips in the living room because he caught a fly and just assumed he was Superman now.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Like he wakes up, catches a fly in midair, like just instinctually. He's like, "Huh, I caught the fly. I'm gonna go do some like high level gymnast shit because apparently catching a fly means that I can do that." Which he could, but like the 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 line of thought that he got to that conclusion, I don't understand that. It was bizarre.
I just like to assume that his brain was already starting to get fucked up by this point. Like I don't know. Um,
He's just like, you know what I could do? I could fucking do a bunch of crazy flips on the fucking water pipe that's sticking out of my apartment and
mm.
just kind of flip around, and then I'm gonna fuck for 4 straight hours.
Oh yeah, because they go out to the neck after because she wakes up like and sees him doing this shit, and, and she's just like, "The fuck am I watching?" Um, and then they immediately like go out on a date. He's like all like romantic about it. She does note that he's got weird black hairs growing out of his back now, which he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal." Um,
Mm.
and then they come back and yeah, they fuck for like 4 hours. Like it's to the point where it's fucking ridiculous. I'm like, okay. Especially after he fucking like ate like 4 pounds of sugar at a
Yeah, and
at
I'm
this
just saying, like it. I'm just saying, if it was like that intense and shit, and she's like, "Oh, I can't go on. I can't do it anymore. It's too much. I need to take a rest, like this and that." And then she just gets up and starts walking around and doing her thing. I'm like, "There's no fucking way. There's no fucking
yeah,
way that after 4 hours of like that intense banging, that she's just walking around like no, like now, your legs are jelly."
yeah, yeah, that whole thing was like okay. Like um I did find it kind of unsettling just how much his mental state is already fucking falling apart by this point though.
Yeah, it is super accelerated.
Because it's like it's crazy because like the first like the coolest part about this movie is just how fucking gradual the transformation is. Um
Hmm.
because it like starts out he seems fine. He's fucking like Superman now all of a sudden. But then you start seeing like he's like erratically like talking like all over the place. He's eating a lot of sugar, which fly makes sense. Um, and he's just kind of getting progressively more and more unhinged.
Hmm.
And then he gets to this point where he's like, I've been purified. You go in the booth now. And she's like, I'm not going in the booth. He's like, get in the damn booth. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, because this is all one scene, right? Here they have the whole conversation about how like they've been banging for like 4 hours straight, and she's like, I can't take anymore, this and that, and he's like, I got it. Go in the thing. I'll teleport you, and you'll be like me, and we can just fuck for 12 hours. It'll be awesome. And she's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm scared of that thing. And he's like, well, fine. If you don't want to go in the booth, I'll go find someone who will, who can be on my level. You're holding me back.
Yeah, and you look at him too by this point. He already started to look like shit. Like he's all breaking out and like I'm like, oh damn, like I forgot how quick it starts.
Yeah, for sure.
Um the implication too, where he's like fused with a fly and it's like changing him from the inside out and like his outer skin is like rotting off is so fucking unsettling to watch.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, he ends up going to like this bar and he like picks the first woman he sees, and I'm just like, okay. Which also a bit of a plot hole with her, I'm gonna say, but we'll get to it later. Um, there's a couple like meatheads there, like having a fucking arm wrestling contest, and he's like, I bet I could win. Here's $100, and I get to take the lady if I win. And she's like, what am I? What do you think I am, a hooker? And he's like, I'm looking at him like, lady, you know, um.
I mean, I'm not gonna say yes, but
Also, she was not even like involved with those guys. I'm just like, what is the fucking like twist
and
here?
She was kind of insinuating she was gonna go home with one of them.
Oh, yeah, I guess true. But yeah, so they have this arm wrestling thing, and these two like fucking like lumberjack like looking guys are all like, the guy eats chocolate bars. He's totally gonna be a nothing. And he straight up like breaks the guy's arm, but it's like not even a like one of those like comet like a broken bone is already horrifying, but this straight up like broke the skin. Like it was that dramatic.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like his wrist, like where you would expect. It was his forearm.
Yeah, it was like mid bone, and it's like, uh, thank God it didn't hit a vein because it wasn't like gushing blood or anything. I was like, I forgot how fucking like disturbing that scene was.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, then he ends up taking the lady of the night, I guess, to his apartment after going to a few more bars, and it's subtly implied that things happened that night. Um, and then he wants to
Yeah.
put her in the pod, and she's like, "I'm not going in the pod." Like nobody wants to go in the pod.
Stop trying to put people in the pod.
I mean, he teleports himself through the pod, and she's all like, "I don't know what the fuck just happened, but okay,
He's
I
like, what are you, a
guess."
magician? He's like, yeah. You want to
He's
go in
like,
the
"Yeah,
pod?
yeah, get in the pod."
Stop trying to put people in the pod.
I do want to say a bit of a plot hole here, though. So they had their sex marathon the day before, and there's a serious plot point involving that later on. Pretty sure he also did it with the hooker. And if we know anything between the two like correlations, they didn't use protection. Just saying, there's a bit of a plot hole there. Like something.
Well, I mean, just because you don't use protection doesn't mean it's guaranteed she's gonna get pregnant. So whatever.
Yeah, I know, but like he's also not human anymore, and there's some weird shit going on there. And I was like, why would they even like make that a point? In that, I don't know. It's just a weird. That whole section is just weird in general. Like, what was the point of that?
And I love how well I thought it was really funny too because like when they're walking to his apartment like before they get back and go through that whole thing, he's like, oh, you want to go back to my place or whatever, and she's like, yeah, you should probably do that because I live with my mom, so like we can't go back to my place, whatever. And then like you flash forward and like the girl from like the journalist girl from earlier shows up while they're there and like and the hooker lady is like, oh, who's this? And he was like, oh, I forgot to tell you I live with my mom too. It's just like a really stupid joke. Like,
Yeah, it's like that couldn't have made Gina Davis feel great about herself. Like Jesus.
Right.
But yeah, so then like by this point, like um Veronica says the famous line, the "Be afraid, be very afraid" line, and then
Hmm.
he continues to be an unhinged like psychopath and basically kicks her out. And then his fingernails start falling off, and he's like,
Yeah.
that finally clicks with him, where he's like, "Oh no,
Oh no.
something's actually wrong." Then he finds out he fused with a housefly, and now he's the
And he's like,
Brundlefly.
I am Brundlefly. Hear me roar.
Yeah, and he gets progressively more and more like. So now the film kind of will have this interesting thing where it'll keep like cutting a couple months. So it's like 4 months later, and we see him now, and he's like looking like this goblin creature now. Um,
Yeah. It reminded me
and
of something, but I can't place what it was.
mm, and he's all like, "Hey, I don't bite my fingernails anymore because I don't have them." But also, I'm falling apart because like he's basically being like he's like stay away. I don't want it to be contagious. Oh, by the way, I eat my food now by barfing it up like a fly. Um,
Yeah,
all
I
my ear.
barf on it, and then it dissolves, and then I drink it.
Yep. Then my ear falls off, and he's like, "Please hug me. I'm scared." Um, and I was just like this is getting unhinged and more. It's how uncomfortable the whole thing feels that I think actually enhances this movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's very unsettling throughout.
Because then by like the next time we see him, he's like this golem creature, and he's all like, "Well, now we're gonna film my escapades as the Brundlefly." He's like, "I've got these teeth, but they're useless because flies can't eat solid food, so I have to barf it out and then drink it." And I'm just like what the fuck? And then
He's like, also, I have this medicine cabinet full of my body parts that have fallen off. Want to see my dick? It's in a jar.
yeah, yeah, because like the next time we see him, he's like just straight up like not even human anymore. Like he's like this weird,
He's not even wearing clothes. He's just like this giant walking tumor.
yeah, basically. Um, and then Veronica finds out she's pregnant, which sure. And then they immediately have that horrible. It's like one of those like horrible realizations where like the dickhead boss is like, "Oh, okay, haha, very funny," and then he goes like, "Oh shit, wait a minute." Um,
Hmm.
and we get that lovely like dream sequence where we see her give birth to a maggot. Um,
Yeah, that was pretty nasty.
yeah, yeah, the sequel happens. So just saying. Anyways, um,
Ugh.
yeah. Gina Davis didn't come back for the sequel. I don't even remember who the random lady they had for the one scene in the movie was, but
Ugh.
uh yeah, so like now she's like I forget why she even goes back to see him that one final time. Because at that point it's like
Well, I think
just
she was going to tell him she was pregnant as like a
which
last ditch effort to kind of get him to come back. And by that point, she was like, "Nah, he's too far gone."
yeah, he's not even human anymore at this point. Um so they then have this big argument out in the parking lot. Of course, Brundlefly hears everything. And so they're at this like hospital wing getting ready to get an abortion, and suddenly he just jumps through a fucking window because he's fucking like Superman, I guess. Um,
He's like, "I gotta save my baby."
yeah, and he's like, I can. This is my only humanity left, and I'm just like, I don't think what you think's gonna happen is gonna work, buddy. But okay, because he eventually takes her back to the apartment, and he's like, I'm gonna now fuse with you, and we can be one big happy family in one body. I'm like, it, it, it's still got weird fly DNA in there, man. It's still gonna be a problem. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, like then we get the fucking horrifying climax, which is in terms of effects is the most impressive scene in the movie, but it's also like disturbing as fuck. Where basically
hmm.
like in a final effort, the boss, I think his name is like Stathis, shows up with a shotgun, and Brundlefly uses his acid to melt off his arm and foot, so he can't um kill him.
He can't run or fight.
But he leaves
He's
him
like
alive.
he's getting ready to barf on his face.
Yeah, but then Veronica's like, please don't, because I care for some reason, and immediately gets
Murder's
fucking
bad.
Yeah, and then immediately gets put in one of the pods after she like kind of struggles and rips his jaw off. And then
Yeah, very very casual. Like it wasn't like a huge like she just kind of like pulled and he just kind of came off. It was like ugh,
yeah, well, because
ugh.
his fucking like body was just fucking rotting off by that point. And then we get basically by that point, then his like his humanity just finally gives up, and he fully fucking transforms by this point. Because then suddenly, like, basically all the dead flesh on his body just fucking falls off, and it's like the reveal is like, oh, this is what's been going on under the skin this whole time.
Yeah,
Where
yeah, it's pretty gross.
he's basically this walking fly abomination now. Um,
Hmm.
and basically he throws Veronica into one of the pods, and then walks into the other one himself to do the fusion. Because they're gonna then fuse into that third pod that he had shown briefly at the beginning of the film, the clunky one.
Yeah,
Um, but Stathis ends up waking up and picking up the rifle or shotgun just quick enough to destroy the cable that connects to Veronica's pod, which I guess saves her. Because then the fusion sequence happens, but because Brundle is halfway out, it actually takes him and the door, and he fuses with the pod and becomes Brundlefly telepod abomination.
yeah. And like yeah, this moment where like Veronica has the shotgun and she's like aiming it at him like she's gonna kill him, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do it, whatever." And then Brundlefly Pod Monster grabs the barrel of the gun and points it at his own head. Yeah, it's like, no, just kill me.
Yeah, because at
like,
this point, like
this is
even
awful.
this is a mercy kill by this point, and she still can't do it. But eventually, she gives in, and we get that horrifying, just like death scene, and then the film just kind of ends there.
Yeah, there's no wrap up scene. There's no like, oh, this happened. No, it's just literally shoots him in the head. Shocked look. Credits.
Yeah, which honestly fitting. There's a sequel that kind of ruins that ending, but because this isn't a happy story by any means. This is like a tragedy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the first third was pretty happy, and then yeah, it got pretty bad.
Yeah, then he got drunk and fucking fused with a fly, and then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, there's no going back from that.
Yeah, plot wise, the film's kind of a mess. I've always thought the plot was kind of a fucking shit show in this movie, but it's not really about the plot in
No,
reality. It's really just about
right,
the what.
it's cheesy 80s sci-fi.
Yeah, and the real star of this film is literally the makeup department. I believe the head of the makeup department was what's his name? Chris Wallace, who, fun fact, would be the director of the second film. Because making the makeup director the director of the sequel is always a great idea. Um,
Yeah,
it had effects and it was extra ultra violent, but the plot was even worse somehow. Um,
I'd still give it a watch though. I've never
I mean,
seen it, but I'm interested enough to watch it once.
it's an interesting watch, but you watch and you go, "This is bad. Like this is just stupid."
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
No, this movie though, like really stands on just the whole tragic element of it, and the fact that it's like it's not. There's no happy ending. There's no real happiness at all. It's really a tragic kind of movie,
Mhm,
and it
for sure.
really unsettles you watching it. Like I still think this the cover for the first movie is really haunting because you got the fucking insect leg and then the human hand popping out of the pod at the top there.
Mhm.
Like it's one of those like films where it's like you watch it and you just go, yeah. Like
Ugh.
if you don't like insects and like body horror, this is not a film I'd recommend watching.
No, for sure. But at the same time, I mean, we're so far beyond like the kind of effect you'd get in 80s movies that I
Well,
feel like a lot of a lot of audiences from today's day and age kind of desensitized to that style at least. I personally really like practical effects like that, and I think
it's
they
a
work really well. And
it is a great
I,
looking
I
movie. Like
Yeah,
even
I
now.
love 80s sci-fi fantasy. Like 80s sci-fi fantasy is fucking amazing. I love it all.
Like, oh, I just realized the fucking untitled third and flag segment has been going this whole time. Oops.
Whoops.
Um, but
It was funny.
yeah,
I noticed that when we first started doing the fly set stuff, and I just kind of forgot to say anything.
I noticed that I was like, wait a minute. Um, no, but the thing. So the plot of this movie is kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie, but the effects are amazing. Like the practical effect jobs. Like there's some little CG here and there, but for the most part, it's all practically done. Like the makeup for this movie must have been like insane. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
probably where
for
most of the
sure.
budget went. In all honesty,
Probably.
but the other big plus of this movie is the fucking performances. Like goofy story aside, like the acting is phenomenal in this movie because you really Jeff Goldblum really sells like that slow descent into fucking madness.
Yeah, for sure. And like the slow descent into madness has been done so many times in movies and TV and stuff. And uh, I feel like The Shining was probably like the big like this is like the big start of that, and then after that it started happening a lot. But Jeff Goldblum really sells it in a way that a lot of other actors don't.
Like the scene to me, like that really like there's like two scenes in particular. One is the scene where he finally realizes that something's wrong. Um, when he like his fingernails start falling off and he smashes his fucking razor after he had punched the wall apart earlier. Um, but then there's also the scene where he's trying to like reconfigure the computers, and it gets to the point where he's changed so much that the computer doesn't even recognize his voice anymore.
Yeah,
Like yeah, like shit like that. Like I'm not a massive body horror fan, but like this movie, like kind of does it in a way that's actually kind of cool to watch in like a disturbing way.
yeah. I mean, it's not the same kind of body horror that you get in like say a Saw. Like Saw is like almost pornographic with the kind of body horror they do.
I mean, to me, the
It's like grotesque kind of. And this is more.
unsettling.
Yeah, it's more unsettled. It's more unnatural. It's not just like a straight up like, yeah, we're just gonna torture you and just do all this fucked up shit to you. Like, no, it's a lot more creative in this way.
Yeah, this is a man that fused with a fly, and it's like the body doesn't know how to handle it, and this is what happens. Um,
What's funny is like this is my first time watching this movie, right? But I remember when it was either late, like grade school, early middle school. I don't remember exactly. It was during the time period where when you went to the Sci-Fi Channel on Saturday nights, you'd see some really interesting B movies.
mm,
And I saw a Fly clone movie. It was called Mansquito, and it was almost the same plot.
lovely.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same plot where the dude gets fused with a mosquito and that's why like when we were watching it, I was just like, oh, he should be dead already because flies have a short lifespan or whatever. That's kind of like why my mind went that way because in that movie, the dude could only live like for like a day after that because mosquitoes only live for a day.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was gonna say though, like in terms of like body horror, like this is pretty tame because like when I think body horror, that's still like kind of fucks me up whenever I see it. I still think like the ending of Akira is still one of the most like intense
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
because that's just one of those like holy fuck moments, like especially if you saw that at 11 like I did. Um,
Mhm.
this movie, on the other hand, like yeah, that final scene is disturbing, but it's disturbing in a way where you kind of like honestly the jaw twitching on the floor was more disturbing than the actual transformation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, for
Like
sure.
I think out of all of the moments there, like the part that was the most freaky to me was like when his head breaks open and his eyeballs just kind of fall to the floor.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like that, like kind of close up scene of just his body just kind of coming apart like a
Yeah,
fucking cocoon almost.
like the outer just like skin just falls off and then underneath is like this fly abomination.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, No, it's a crazy film. I still think it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Just because it's
Yeah,
so
I don't even know if I would classify it as horror.
it's it's definitely got horror elements to it. Like that,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
it's a tragic horror movie, which I think makes it very interesting.
Hmm, that's fair.
I mean, to be fair, out of the three movies we've done, like none of them have really been exclusively horror.
True. I think the one we'll be covering next week though will kind of break that cycle.
Okay, and that's Doctor No, right?
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep. That's right, Doctor Sleep.
Yes,
Um,
that's what we'll be covering next week.
yes. So yeah, next week we'll be doing Doctor Sleep. It'll technically be the first week of November because we planning happened. But yeah, so this was The Fly. I did enjoy revisiting it, I'd say.
Yeah,
Still,
it's a good one. It's a movie I enjoyed very much. I don't know. I love those kinds of like darker 80s movies. They're fun. You
yeah,
know, I think it's funny too, also that with the exception of the of Doctor Sleep that we'll be covering next week, all of the movies we chose were pre 2000s.
mm, yeah, yeah. This was definitely the oldest one we've watched, but yeah, no, that is actually kind of funny thinking about it.
Hmm. Doctor Sleep, I believe, came out in 2019, so it's only
2019.
6 years old.
Okay, all right, but yeah. So next week we'll be looking forward to that. And in the meantime, guys, once again, thank you for joining us on the gaming. This is gaming collecting. I'm so
Not.
tired. 3DO, right? Yeah, no. Thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts.
Bye
This was
bye.
a this was a this was a weird 3DO game. All right. All of them have I have my same ending in every single one, but I either get Alex's unhinged rant, Thrax bye bye, or your catch you later, or see you later, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I am tired. It's late for us. But yeah. Old 5:30 on a Saturday is late. God, we're old.
We're in our 30s.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And be sure to check us out on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site where you can find all sorts of different podcasts, videos, blogs. We're currently in the middle of Spooktober. Each of us have been doing different spooky blogs for the thing. My carrier blog recently just came out. And if you'd like to do the Game Club game, it's House of the Dead. Excuse me, House of the Dead remake. So, which is $2 on Switch, I believe, right now. Although at the time of this coming out, it's going to be the end of the month, but that's besides the point. Anyways,
It'll
guys,
still
though,
be pre-Halloween, so it'll probably still be on sale.
probably. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Have a good one.